Oh, there we go. Now it's on. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. Yeah, like I said, Patty just sent this over to me. Yeah, they finally sentenced the one. I think this is just one of the officers involved in Elijah McClain's case, which is unbelievable. So, so it reads: a judge sentenced an ex-Colorado police officer to 14 months in jail for his role in the death of Elijah McClain after hearing the young black man's mother Friday called the officer a bully with a badge, who will always have blood on his hands. That's what the mom said. And it says the officer, Randy Rodema, was the most senior law enforcement member initially respond to the scene and the only one found guilty, which is crazy. So basically they just used him as a scapegoat. So a jury convicted him October of criminally negligent homicide, which is a felony, and third degree assault, which is a misdemeanor. The 23-year-old's killing on August 2004. I'm I'm sorry, August 24th, 2019, received little attention at the time, but gained renewed interest the following year as mass protests swept the nation over the murder of George Floyd by Minneapolis police. McClain's death became a rally cry for critics of racial injustice and policing. So it says in a separate trial, two paramedics were recently convicted for injecting McClain with an overdose of the sedative ketamine. After police put him in a neck hold, the sentencing for the paramedics will come in March. So I'm thinking they're talking about March of 2024. Because hey, Brady, what's up? What's up? Yeah. Yeah, Jim. 14 months is proof there is no accountability for those who, let me highlight this, for those who we're supposed to trust. And they say jail. They didn't say he's going to prison. They just say he's going to jail. You know, those are two different things. But let me keep reading. Yeah. So it says before Judge Mark Warner handed down the sentence, McClain's mother, Shanine McClain, raged against Rodema after he expressed remorse but stopped short of apologizing. So can you really, if you don't apologize, can you really show remorse? I don't think that makes sense. You can't say you're sorry but not say you're sorry at the same time. Basically said sorry for not being sorry. So says Randy Rodema stole my son's life. This is the words of Elijah McClain's mother. Randy Rodema stole my son's life. She said, all the belated apologies in the world can't remove my son's blood from Randy Rodema's hands. Protecting the community was the furthest thing from his mind. The night her son stopped walking home from the store, she said. She absolutely right. They were not worried about protecting the community. They weren't worried about Elijah McClain's safety. None of that. they jumped out and pretty much ambushed him. You know, it was it was pretty wicked in my opinion. So then she hugged a supporter and wiped tears. She sat back down. Yeah, I don't know if you ever been to a trial of something where one of your family members is involved and you have to see the person who actually did something to your family member. It's especially a child. That's it's so tough, and especially when they don't even apologize. They either deflect or try to act like they didn't do anything wrong, which is insane. Said Brady said the entire thing was disrespectful. That guy was just going home. Exactly. All he was doing. He was nice too. Like they did this to one of the nicest people that they could have found. Brady says because they teach saying sorry is admission of guilt. Exactly. Hey, what's up, FAQ? GMR, what's up? What's up? Yeah, Brady, if you can talk about that a bit. Yeah, man. A lot. I think Elijah had I think he just had what is it called? Autism. Yeah, I think he had autism. But not like I think he had like high functioning autism. You know, which is I have family members who I just wonder about them if they run into the wrong person that doesn't know how to deal with any mental issues. But let's keep going. So it says Senior Assistant Attorney General Jason Slothber described how in the last minutes of McClain's life he struggled to breathe through vomit, yet still faced violence from Rodema, who picked him, who picked him up, slammed him down, and dug his knees into his back. Yeah, as this is as he's taking his last breath, this is what's happening. And then for this officer to come and stand in front of his mother and basically say this is our training, this is what they train us to do, it happened. you know yeah, that's didn't say sorry, didn't apologize. It's and here's the next. It says the lack of compassion was all the more startling. Slothberg said after he read all 76 letters friends, relatives, and associates wrote in Rodema's support. 76 letters they wrote in Rodema's support after he did this to somebody. Insane. Insane. I don't know why that compassion and that care that his friends and family has, the people who serve with him talk about, was not there for Elijah McClain, but clearly wasn't. uh Slothberg said. Rodema also spoke at the hearing, as well as his sister and former military colleagues. Rodema was a U.S. Marine who was wounded in Iraq. So, if you are a wounded vet, then, you know, apparently you can do no wrong. I want the McClain family to know the sadness I feel about Elijah being gone. He was young, Rodema said. That's all he had to say. That's all he had to. Let me read that over. I want the McClain family to know the sadness I feel about Elijah being gone. He was young. That I can't believe that's all he had to say after, he basically brutally murdered somebody. His knee, he had his knee on his back and kept throwing him to the ground after we saw the video. We know. Honestly, I don't even want to play that video again just because of how graphic it is. I'm gonna have that video link in this in the description of this video. So it says Rodima said he wished the initial 911 call that reported McClain looking suspicious that night had never been made. What? But he didn't comment about anything he could have done differently. So he's wishing the 911 call never been made. And they tell you time and time again that you don't need any credibility. You don't need to vouch for any. Nobody needs to vouch for these people who just call 911 on people just to do it. They don't, it's ridiculous. You see somebody walking down the street and you call 911 when that person didn't do anything wrong. And then, then you have officers that show up with I'm gonna say ill intentions. They show up with ill intentions. They want to control the scene and just a whole bunch of bullshit. But let's keep going. We all responded to that incident in the way that we are all trained to do. That says a lot right there. They say it's all in the training, but I don't think they're trained. I think half of it's training and half of it is just ego and lack of human compassion. It's like they go through training and they turn their human switch off and they become robots. Needless to say, the situation had a horrible outcome that nobody intended or wanted to happen, Rodima said. Rodima's sister, I think that's Kayleen Rodima, talked about how he helped her care for their mother without hesitation and continues to be a big brother who is relied upon by the whole family. It hurts me because I know him and I know better. What if you know him and know better, then I don't know what that means. He's a loving husband and father, son and brother, cousin and friend. It's so hard for me to imagine how it could be beneficial for him to serve time in jail. Kayleen Rodima said, well, that's what happens when you murder somebody. You don't just get away with it and, oh, he's a great father and blah, 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 blah. Oh, okay. He can come home. No. Let me see. Rodima's lawyer, Don Season, declined to comment on the sentence as he left court with Rodima and his wife. A deputy escorted them to their cars. What y'all think about this so far? Right, said my youngest son is autistic and freaks me out that the cops will do something so unforgivable to him, given that we're becoming more like America by the day. Yeah, you gotta take extra precaution. Why are people always aggressive towards anything that they don't understand? He didn't deserve what he went through just because he's different. I agree with you, Jim. Jimmy says, 2 of my grandkids are on the spectrum, but high functioning. Exactly. And you just think, well, what if something happens and you have one of these tyrants that just come out there, not knowing how, they don't know how to deal with people. And it's crazy that you choose a job where you're going to have to deal with people every single day, but you don't know how to do it. And there's no training on learning how to deal with people. It's just get them under control. It's insane. Right? They say yes, unless you're a homeless vet. Exactly, a homeless wounded vet. FAQ say he could have been 100, yo, and it's still equally bad. Exactly. I don't know what was his angle or what was his point in saying that, but I think at that point he was just saying anything. He wasn't gonna apologize. He wasn't gonna admit to his wrongdoing. So at that point, you just say anything. Friday says the bad sucks the soul out of them. That's what it seems like. That's definitely what it seems like. It's like they go through the training, get the badge, and now they're, or now they get to reveal their true selves. I think once they go through the training and do all that, it's like now they can take their mask off. Now they have the immunity and everything like that, so they can be who they really are. Yeah, terrible. All right, let's keep going. This is Randy right here. So it says McClain was stopped by police after a 911 caller reported that he looked suspicious. Another officer put his hands on McClain within seconds. Exactly, they swarmed him. So beginning a struggle and restraining that lasted about 20 minutes before paramedics injected him with ketamine. Experts say the sedative ultimately killed McClain, who was already weakened from struggling to breathe while being pinned down after inhaling vomit in his lungs. This is horrible. Rodema helped hold McClain down while paramedics administered the ketamine. He was often visible in the body cam footage shown over and over to the jurors, and he could be heard directing others how to restrain him. This is a quote right here. It says, "I don't think anybody who's been involved in this case can unsee what was what was on the video or what was depicted on the videos," Warner said before sentencing Rodema. So exactly, he, so this thing about everybody 76 letters talking about how good this person is. On the video, you can hear him clearly speaking very wickedly uh towards Elijah, you know, telling him, this is where we're gonna stick you, and it was horrible. Y'all remember the video. It was terrible. Okay. So I say Warner, who said he was shocked by what appeared to be indifferent. Hold on, let me see. Warner, who said he was shocked by what appeared to be indifference to McClain's suffering after he was handcuffed, could be could have sentenced Rodema to up to 3 years in prison for his felony conviction, but chose instead to give him 4 years of parole for the felony and a jail sentence for the misdemeanor. So again, he went to jail, not prison. Two different things. Warner said that would lead Rodema being behind bars longer, since he would likely be paroled after about a year. If he was sent to state prison, he he also could have been eligible to be sent to a halfway house before that too. under prison rules. The sentencing includes the option of work release. He must report to jail by March 22nd. Shanae McClain called the sentence afterwards a slap on the wrist. That's literally a slap on the wrist. That was, after, you know, after doing everything wrong when you arrive to that scene, and then you do everything wrong, and then by your mistake you actually kill someone. You know, you barely have to. You barely have any consequence, really. Hey, good morning. Hey, good morning. Yeah. So it says the same. Redeemers sentencing include work release. The same jury that convicted Rodema acquitted former officer Jason. So how are they getting this same jury? I'm wondering how they're getting this same jury. And well, you know how they're getting the same jury that that convicted Rodema acquitted former officer Jason Rosenblatt, whose lawyer stressed that he wasn't close to McClain when the ketamine was injected. Mm, so I guess that's really literally a jury of their peers, because that's the only those are the only people who can look past his actions and still not. Excuse me. A different jury acquitted Officer Nathan Woodyard a few weeks later after he testified that he put McClain in a neck hold, briefly rendering him unconscious. So a neck hold meaning he choked him out. You know, a neck hold sounds pretty light, but he was in the chokehold. I don't know why they say neck hold to make it like not sound as bad. But Woodward testified that he feared for his life after Rodema said McClain had grabbed for one of their guns. Prosecutors say the gun grab never happened. We all know that didn't happen. They just screamed that out like, hey, they say stop resisting, even though you're not doing nothing before they shoot you. So Aurora Fire Rescue paramedics Jeremy Cooper and Peter Chinchunik were convicted last month. Chinchunik, the senior officer, was found guilty of the most serious charges faced by any of the first responders, which was a felony second-degree assault, and it carries a prison sentence of between 5 to 16 years in prison. So they were willing to. They gave the most serious charges to the paramedics, which they're the ones who injected the ketamine, but that was based on pretty much what the officers were telling them to do. So when something like this happens, it's everybody passes it around like, oh, it's not my fault, it's their fault because of this, and they say no, it's not my fault, it's their fault because they told me. Yeah, it always gets passed around through what is this? Through tragic Elijah McClain's death has brought about positive changes in Colorado, including law bear, law-bearing police from directing ketamine to be used. So exactly, basically what I just said. Require first responders to intervene if they see someone put in danger by other first responders, and requiring police to wear body cams. Slaughter said. Elijah McClain's life mattered, he said. All right, so that's the end of the article. Okay. All right, let me refresh this page, and I'm gonna play the video. I think it's like a 2-minute video, a minute 42 seconds. That that was Elijah McClain's mother.
We, the jury, find the defendant Randy Rodima guilty of criminally negligent homicide. Second verdict form 21 CR 2782. We, the jury, find the defendant Randy Rodima guilty of assault in the third degree. We, the jury, find the defendant Jason Rosenblatt not guilty of manslaughter reckless and the lesser included offense of criminally negligent homicide with the signature of the foreperson. We, the jury, find the defendant Jason Rosenblatt not guilty of assault in the second degree.
Today, the jury returned a guilty verdict as to one of the defendants. I'm so grateful that the team's hard work and dedication resulted in this judgment. We are here today, as the prosecutors in this case said, because Elijah McClain mattered. He was only 23 years old. When he died, he had his whole life ahead of him. His mother, Shanine McClain, has relived that tragic night again and again over the last several years. I thank Shanine for her strength, for her grace, for her commitment to justice, and for her resilience during this process. Elijah McClain's memory is living on as a blessing.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, Letty, uh, the officers involved in Elijah McClain's uh, case got 14 months in jail. And that's jail, not prison. He didn't go to prison. He went to jail, which totally different. Still, not totally different, but they're different. Hit the like button. Thank you, Letty. But yeah, so basically what happened, pretty much slaps on the wrist, and everybody passed it around. Said, "Oh, it's not my fault. It's this person's fault. It's this person's fault." Then this is the lead or the highest ranking officer that arrived to that scene, and since he was a U.S. Marine, and he served in the war, he was injured and all that. They had 76 people write letters, talking about how great of a person this guy is, even after they watched the video of him basically torturing somebody to death, which is insane. you know y'all share more of y'all thoughts. What do you think about that? And everybody who catches this on the replay, or when I actually post it.
Hi, I'm Jeff Gold
Comment
here.
down what your thoughts are on this situation. If you want to read the article yourself, I put the link in the description. Now I'm also going to put the link where I actually covered this story. I'm gonna put that in the description too. Damn, man. Hey, what's up? All right. I catch y'all later. AWB, I'm out.